Since then, she's helped thousands of people who've gone through similar traumas through books and television shows. She's established her own charity, the Katie Piper Foundation, and works tirelessly to help people in need from all walks of life. But now Katie, 34, wants to help women and mums in a different way with her new book, From Mother to Daughter, which she co-wrote with her mum, Diane. As a special Mother's Day treat, we sat down with Katie, who has two daughters, Belle, who's 4 this week, and 3-month-old Penelope, with her husband Richard Sutton, to chat motherhood pressures and why you should never be too hard on yourself. Hey Katie, where did the idea for your new book come from? Last year my mum read an extract from a private diary she'd written during my time in hospital that I hadn't heard before. I was also expecting my second child and lots of people had asked me to write a parenting book. So I decided to do a parenting book about how to raise a daughter in a modern world, as well as your relationship as a teen with your mum, and then as you get older, you go on to care for your mum, which I'm finding with my mum now as she has cancer. Did you and your mum work on it together? Yeah. We live a few hours apart, so we were up and down the motorway and trying to tag a lunch on at the end. Some of the sessions were quite heavy and not so enjoyable, so it was a different experience. But I'm a big believer in talking about mental health. You have to give the whole picture to put it into context. Was there anything that your mum opened up about that surprised you? I realized why my parents were the way they were, which I didn't until I became a mum myself. As a teenager, I was quite wild and they were trying to rein me in, and I never understood the worry until I became a parent myself. What has she taught you that you now do yourself as a mum? She was very hands-on. She gave up her career and dedicated her whole life to bringing up me, my brother and my sister. She taught me the way to make somebody the richest is to give someone your time. I think that's the biggest gift you can give. How are you finding being a mum of 2? It's really hectic. With the first you can have naps in the day, but now I can't do that. It's a military operation. You've got to stick with the timings, you've got to be organized, otherwise the window to do something is gone. So I've got to be a lot more prepared. Is Belle enjoying being a big sister? She's funny. She's trying to draw her eyebrows on with biro and trying to set up her own YouTube channel in the playroom. She's got a really caring side. She'll cuddle the baby and feed the baby, but because she's so young I'll turn around for 1 second and then turn back and she's going, "Mummy, look, I'm trying to see how far I can bend the baby's fingers back." Was she excited when you told her the news? Yeah. I told her really early on and she was so excited, and then when Penelope was born she was really proud, telling everyone at nursery that she's a big sister and that she changes the nappies. Tell us something you've learned since becoming a mum, that when you're absolutely exhausted and think that you can't go on, you absolutely can. What's the biggest challenge you face as a mum? Trying to keep the balance between the two girls, spend equal time with them and help them while having a career. I'm not a constant stay-at-home mum. Some days I am home with them and sometimes I'm working and I find I'm doing emails at 1 am. That's sometimes quite difficult. How do you find time to chill out? I don't really. When I go to work I quite look forward to it because the cab journey is quiet and peaceful. In the book you mention empowering exercises. What do you mean by these? It's quite personal, but, for me, empowering exercises is physical exercise. If I'm depressed or anxious I road run. and road running helps me to put things in perspective. It stops me from sending that irate text or email. And it gives me a moment to pause, which I think is healthy. How often do you go? I would love to do it every day. But when my daughter is at school and the baby is having a nap, I have a treadmill in the kitchen, so I do 15 minutes of interval sprinting. It's not a lot, but it gets my heart rate going and releases some endorphins, and that's me done for the day. What's the one thing you want to teach the girls as they grow older? I think what's really topical at the moment is teaching women to have a voice. It's different now, and they should have a loud, educated, informed voice and never be scared to speak up. What have you got planned for Mother's Day this year? Because we've got so many kids in the family, we have to do it all in shifts, so we go down to my mum's for lunch and then drive back for dinner with Richie's mum for dinner in the evening. It'll be very full on. What's the one piece of mum advice people ask you the most? People ask lots of things about conflicting advice. So it summarizes that people really worry about making a mistake, but there's no such thing. It's all personal preference. It's not written in a rule book.